Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, all good.
So this was supposed to take place like a month ago, and we stepped back. So thank you for being flexible.
Fine, not a problem. It's divine timing.
Yes. And now it's through Zoom and not IG Live because I don't have over 1,000 followers, but that's okay. I'll get there. But
I
kind of
don't have either, so we're in the same boat.
made it work. So you're all the way from the UK. I've had I've had guests 2 hours ahead, 3 hours, and now five. So
Ah,
so
exciting.
thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for having me. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Oh, of course. So you are a wild woman empowerment coach.
Yeah.
A beautiful and different definition to the word wild. What is a wild woman, Agni?
I feel like everyone asks me this question, and I feel like my answer changes daily. And the reason for that is the wild woman has no labels, as simply as that. She chooses to be a very soft, nurturing woman one day, and then the next day she's like full on like fiery and feral and crazy and like, going all like full rage ahead. And then the next day she's soft again. So like she lives unapologetically. She's doing what she wants to do and she leads from the heart. She does everything from integrity and from the full heart, and she does it for the goodness of, like, herself first, but then others as well. So she's just ever changing, but she's always authentic.
I love that.
Hmm.
Changing, always authentic. I think that that can be one of the hardest or most challenging things for people to do is live an authentic life to themselves.
Oh,
So
especially in the age of social media.
like so much pressure from like the people around you, like your peers or your family, but then also like social media and like what you see and like expectation versus reality.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I have a good example about this. I know that we're gonna go off the schedule, if that's okay, or do you want me to stick to the schedule and ignore?
Go.
The like talking about social media and stuff. So like I like working out Pilates, right? And I have this app that I follow along, and I love the woman that she's doing the exercises, and it keeps me fit. But what I've noticed that was creeping into me because she was really like tall and slim, and like very different figure than me, and I realized that I started putting myself into this comparison bubble of like, well, I don't look like her. Like my legs are not long enough, like my body is different shape. And I was starting to like feel bad about my body while working out. And then I thought, no, 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 like this is weird. Like I'm not doing this. Like she's making me happy because I'm working out, but like why I'm comparing my body to her. So it's like, what I'm trying to say about this is like it's the age of comparison, it's the age of being on social media, and it's so easy to fall into this like rabbit hole of like seeing how others are living your life, and then you're trying to live authentically, but you don't know what authenticity means to you, so you copy and paste where everything is around you. So
For real. When there's so much like being broadcast or put out there and you haven't lived an authentic life, it's hard for you to even know kind of like who you are. Like when you
yeah, it's really hard to find identity.
like when you said like you've been copying and pasting like your whole life, not you, but like if people have been copying and pasting because they've been told who they were, they never got to express themselves or learn who they are. So they didn't have time to know who they are. So they've been copying and pasting. Now then eventually time goes on, they're like, who am I? Because you got this part, this person, this part, this part, this part. And then um now it's all right, I'm taking on all these identities. Now I don't even know who I am. So
Yeah, yeah. And it's really difficult because you get to like, I don't know, 25, 30, and then you don't know who you are. Like I don't know how much you and your followers are into astrology, but people have like the first crisis around 25 to 30 because they finish university, they finish school, they go, they get their first job, and then they realize that they are not who they were told they are. And then
yeah,
the whole identity crisis.
that happened to me with like personal training. Like I was doing personal training and then there's so many like different like fitness pages. And one would say I would like try to learn and soak up as much information as I could. One would say, do it this way, do it that way, do it that way. And eventually I just kind of went down the rabbit hole and I was just like, I started to think like, I don't know what I'm doing, or like, am I doing this wrong? Or like eventually, like as time went on, I was just like starting to question myself. And then like my confidence was like just shaken because I was like, you see it from this and
Uh,
just like I was yeah, I was kind of like lost. I was like, am I like my confidence is not there anymore? And then eventually as time went on, I was just like, all right, things got better. And I was just like working out, it's like a self-care thing, and
yes,
long as you're doing it to where you're not going to injure yourself and you enjoy it, but most importantly, you can do it consistently, then you should do it whatever way makes you feel good or whatever way
yeah, the happy way.
that you enjoy doing it. Because this person will say that
Yeah.
this technical and this science and that it's like too much, it's too involvement from this and this. It's just like do what makes you.
Yeah, but see, like you are finding your own wild man as well. Like it's not just about the wild woman, it's about the wild man because your confidence was shaking because of all the comparison, but then you've managed to find your way, like your inner wild, inner strength. So how did you do it? What made you think like from what moment you started think, okay, I'm not shaking anymore, I know who I am. Like I am this person that I'm standing besides what I believe.
It got to a point where you get sick of like feeling that way. Like it's just like you kind of
Yeah,
feel
I get it.
trapped, and it just like you almost get like upset, and then it's like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm done. Like I'm done with that person. I'm done with this. I'm done with this person explanation. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. And then eventually, I think a lot of that comes from the opinion of others. So like judgment of others.
Yeah.
Like when you can set aside judgment of other people and focus on yourself, when you give more energy to your thoughts and opinions about you and other people's about you, then it gets better for you.
Yes, I feel like that's a really good answer. Like I would have said something similar along the lines, so we're on the same page.
Yeah. That's what I found like over the years of like a lot of anxiety and stress comes from the external and like comparison, but judgment of others. And if you can
Yeah,
find a way to like tune that volume down and mute it almost,
ignore.
yeah, you can you'll feel a lot better. But really then you learn like who you are and what you enjoy because you stop taking on other people's opinions, but then you form your own opinion about yourself and you're able to learn who you.
Yes. And then you know who your identity is, and then it's easier to live because you know that okay, I'm not like this is not my value. I'm not standing by this, and then you just say bye-bye to this person or this lifestyle change or like I don't know anything. Yeah, and then you become authentic, and then you become the wild man or the wild woman.
Yeah. And authenticity is like the highest form of vibration to be in. So yeah,
Yeah.
people want to get there. It takes work, it's challenging, but once you get there, it's like you really can't go back. And I love that.
Yeah, but it's I would say I want to emphasize that it's a whole life's journey to be there. It's not like you will reach it like, by the time we hit September or something. Like it's a whole you will have like ups and downs and you will have some doubts and you will have some challenges, but it's so worth it at the end. It's so worth it.
Yeah, there'll be like moments that will creep in a little bit. You got to be like, no, like go away. But
Like yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember you. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah. It's like, like when you go through a breakup and it's like you go through a phase where like you just want to cry and eat ice cream, but then you reach the point where like actually I'm done with it. Like I just want to do something better. So it's like you reach the point where you feel like, I've suffered enough. Like I kind of, I was with my pain, I felt it. I embodied it, like from my teachings, you embody the pain, you feel it out, and then you feel like it's the next step of what you want to do in your journey. So you start changing or taking back control of your life or something. That's the way I would say it.
Yeah, I found that there's been some time in my life where like the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Once the pain becomes so great of when you're staying the same, like it almost forces you to change. Now, granted, you don't, that's definitely not a way that one would want to go, but sometimes that's how things work out. So some people just need pain in their life to change. And I guess I was one of those people at one point. So
I mean, I was too. I feel like all of us, like, I feel like we don't change unless it gets painful. Like, let's be honest. Like, I feel like we don't change until it gets like really bad because, like, this time last year, I was in a lot of like emotional pain, and it got me where here I am now. Would I do it again? I wouldn't wish like for the worst enemy,
Right.
but I'm here now and I'm happy, so it was worth it.
Yeah. And then I think the most beautiful part is when you can look back on your situation and recognize that it helped you become who you are today. So like when you were going
Yeah.
through it, like it was like the worst thing ever. But now looking back, it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And like you grown out of it, you know? It just,
No,
yeah.
I still think that it was really bad for me. Like I still feel like that was awful,
Okay.
but it was worth it. Like I'm sure you understand like the pains of something that was happening in your life. It's like never again, but
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
no, I need to go back there, but like it, it, it served a purpose in my life. So
Yeah, yeah, that's beautifully said. Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of people can relate to this next question. So
Okay.
in 2024, you left your 9 to 5 job. You did what most people wish to do, but never take the leap. What made you decide to finally take the long-awaited leap into the unknown, leaving safety and security for something only you believed in?
I love that question. And it ties beautifully with what we just talked about. The pain of staying where I was too horrible to bear. It was too bad. I always share one experience from last year as I remember I was in my 9 to 5 job, and I remember I was on the floor at work, like I was in the lab and I was crying, like full on crying. Uh like really ugly crying, how bad I felt, like how miserable, how depressed I felt, and like I didn't want to exist, like I didn't want to live. I didn't see the point of living. And by that point, like when I was crying, like my work colleague, like he took my hand and he like lifted me up and he was like you need to get out of here, like it's horrible to see you like this. And I just have goosebumps now talking about this. And from that moment I realized, right, either I'm making a big step and a big leap now or never, because I honestly, like it was so bad and it was so painful emotionally that I was stuck in this loop of like being numb to everything and being so depressed. And that rock bottom, like it's cheesy, like I was in my rock bottom, and then I realized that okay, like from this point onwards only up. And then I made the leap. I quit the job. So on August 1st it will be a year that I quit my job, so almost a year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. And then together with that, I initiated a breakup of my long-term relationship, and like I was planning a wedding at that point. So it wasn't easy, because my partner, like he was a good guy, and I wish him our split was amicable, and I wish him like happiness and good love. We just weren't compatible. We just wanted different things, and he wanted things I didn't want at the time, and the other way around. And I realized that being in this relationship, it's not going to serve us equally because we want different things. So it's not fair for both of us to be in this relationship and like both wanting different things but still being stuck just because we've been in this relationship for most of our 20s. So it was hard, obviously, but it was worth it. Like, I'm in a much better place. I don't know how he is, but I am.
Yeah, that's amazing that you did that because a lot of people, you guys were together for 8 years, right?
Around 8 years, yeah. So all of my 20s, because we met when we were 21, I think.
Okay, so a lot of people at that point would just like stay together, or they'd be like, "Oh, we've been together for so long, the wedding's right here, might as well just stay." And then they stay, and then they go through their life, and they're so unhappy. And you, even though you
Yeah.
with that person for 8 years, you're like, I don't want to go the rest of my life. It's been 8 years. I don't want to go however much long I have left feeling like that.
Yeah, I just felt like because like my whole like I was in a very miserable 9 to 5 job. Like I was happy in my job when I first started, but like it just went downhill. And I just felt like I felt like, well, if I'm gonna stay in a 9 to 5 till I'm retire like till I am retiring age, like it's just not me. Like I couldn't be there. And staying in that relationship, it was convenient, it was safe, but it wasn't me. And I mean, I'm gonna be like real vulnerable and honest here. My partner wanted kids, and I never did. And it's a big thing. And I was honoring his need to be a dad because it's important for him. And I never wanted to be a mom. I don't want to be the mom. I have my fur baby, but that's about it. And I was honoring that because who am I to strip away that need from him? So, it was if it wasn't last year, I'm sure the split would have happened at some point later on when the time I'm talking about babies would have come up. So it's just a matter of choosing your authentic self, like, what do you actually believe? And it was hard. Like, I'm not saying it was easy, but I was staying true to myself.
That's nice that you have like that awareness as well to, sorry,
That's
to
okay.
that, like he wanted something that you couldn't give him. And you,
Yeah, I mean, said like our split was amicable and stuff, so it was kind of I think we both, knew that we weren't compatible, and I was a bit too wild and too feral in a way that like you kind of in a relationship you need to like meet your match or whatever the saying is in English, and it's like we just weren't there, and that's perfectly acceptable. And again, like embodying a true wild woman as you are, it's like you need to be in the environment where you feel supported, so like where you can be your true self and where you can see the potential for growth as in like your soul potential, your soul blueprint. And I just wasn't feeling like that in my relationship and in my 9 to 5 job, so I just felt like I had to make the leap because otherwise I was going like super depressed, which again I wouldn't wish to anyone.
yeah, I feel like 9 to 5s aren't for everyone. Like I'm feel like I'm one of those people. Like you feel like you're stuck in a box, you know? Like
Yeah, exactly.
there's certain things that like light you up inside, but like certain people just are not meant to work a 9 to 5 job. Like there's nothing wrong with people that do or who enjoy that. But like
Yes.
people are meant to like be more creative and do their own thing in a creative way that isn't more structured in a fit schedule like that where you have to be told, oh, you can't take this vacation or you got, this or that or
Yeah, you
this
want
is
the freedom.
what it is really. It's about freedom.
Yeah, and it's about also the way you work, because some people are very creative and they need a lot of creative projects, and then some people like don't. They just like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's a whole different topic of like how people work, and I feel like 9 to 5 job to me it wasn't serving. Like the only good thing about my job was that I was teaching students, and I loved that part. I loved seeing how students change and shift and morph when they've like been with me for a while. And like that's big part of why I realized that I really, really want to do coaching and teaching, because I loved how they were blossoming when I was teaching them. Because yes, I was teaching them like lab and sciencey stuff, but I was teaching them the confidence, how to believe in themselves, how to like, you know, just be confident in what they have to say, and like how to share their opinions. And I was always like advocate for their rights and for what they, what they deserve and everything. So I was like a little rebel then. And like that's the only thing that kept me going in that job, like for how long as I've been there. Because it's like I wanted to inspire them and to, show them that, you know, they can be a beautiful human being. So that made me really happy. I miss them. I miss that part.
I love that. But
Mhm.
now you get to do it with older adults, and you get to empower women. And so you're still doing, I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're doing what you love.
Yes, I am. I am. I'm just saying that like it's very different. It's very different to like teach students, and like, you know, I was teaching students and most of them they came to university because they had to. Like only one or two were like that they actually felt the passion. Whereas with my coaching, the women who are coming to do one-on-one work with me, they want the change. They are like driven by that, like they're paying money to do that. So it's a very different mindset and it's very different circumstances, but I love both. Like they're very different, but I love both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love what I do. I can talk about it for hours.
That's amazing though. Like some people like to do what you love and what you're passionate about, I think is like one of the ultimate things like you can ever accomplish.
Yeah. Like you love your job, don't you? Like you could talk about this for hours, what you're doing, and like you help, like your whole like aim and purpose is to, build a community as we talked about before and like inspire others as well. So I'm sure that you can talk about this for hours as well.
Oh yeah. Small talk? No. This or passions? Yes.
Yeah, it's like let's not talk about the weather, let's talk about the traumas and the psychological stuff and all of those good stuff. Good thing.
Um, so you named your page the Wild Medina. Why did you choose this name specifically?
So Medeina, for those of you who don't know, uh, I'm I'm Lithuanian, but I live in the UK, and Medeina is a Lithuanian goddess of the forest. So I feel like it was very beautiful blend of, my wild woman teachings and bringing that part of my culture to my brand name. Because I wanted a name that was easy to, like, fairly easy to pronounce, and it would, like, I wanted something meaningful. And when I was scrolling through the Lithuanian, like, names and goddesses and all those things, the Medina just popped to the screen, like, just it just popped. And I was like, yep, this is it. Like, I'm embodying that. Like, yep, this is totally me. Like, because the Medina represents the huntress archetype in Lithuanian culture. So, she's feral, she's like part wolf, part, she's like morphing from one animal to another, and she's protecting the forest. So I feel like that's very me, like hunting for my tribe. So I feel like that's very me. So that's kind of how the name was born.
I love that. I love how you tied it to your roots too. And that's like super creative. Name.
Yeah, I mean, that's the credit for Becky from the Becky the Humble Warrior, because she's doing human design coaching. And when I was in my deepest, darkest place, I was asking her guidance, like how to came out of this depression, but like, with the help of astrology and human design. And she was saying, like, why don't you try to tie in your roots and your ancestry with what you want to do? And she just said it that, and I was like, oh, maybe that's a good idea. And then kind of I did find the name myself, but she planted the seed in my head, so I'm always grateful for her.
And I think like that name, it's like very like thought provoking and it makes people like think, oh, I wonder, and like it gets them interested. So I think like that draws more attention to your brand and like what you're doing as well. So I think yeah, that's super creative and smart on your part and her part.
Thank you, thank you. I did have quite a few people like message me asking like, what does the name mean? And like that's how the conversation started, and that's how they like started following me. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you did a
But
great job.
I'm feeling the name. Like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like sometimes the name chooses you. you know? So it's like I feel like he chose me.
You know, I got the name actually for this series of Chat GPT because I had one in mind and then it was taken. Like I looked at like so it was in my mind and I looked like through podcasts to make sure like it wasn't taken and then it was.
Yeah.
It changed it.
Aw.
And Chat GPT came up with this as I had to like ask it like multiple different questions in different ways, but then like
Yeah.
all right, I like this, I'm gonna stick with it. So that's how I got the name with this.
Ah, okay. I just thought that you thought about it yourself. I thought it came from the heart and like you kind of it came to you one night. Apparently not.
Yeah, I wanted the name like or the word like vulnerability to be in there. And then as I
Yeah. So what was the original name that you wanted to name it? Or you
oh
can't remember.
I don't remember the original name. But this one is
Okay.
that's all I know.
No, I like it. I like it because I feel like it kind of um makes you like stop and think. Like voices of vulnerability sound like, oh, like well, like what are they going to talk about? Because vulnerability is quite a taboo topic, I would say. Like people don't like to talk about it. So you automatically get drawn to the name because oh, like oh, what's vulnerable? Like oh, like I don't, it makes you feel something, and I feel like that's what caught the attention. So smart, in my opinion.
Thanks. I had someone tell me that actually. They said I should change the name, but I was like, no, I want to keep it. I like it. And yes, like being vulnerable can be maybe scary to people at times, but also like it's a beautiful thing to have people like talk about what they've grown through and inspire others and let them know they're not
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I feel like usually what I found is when you meet people that are like in the like spiritual journey or coaching industry, like 99% of them, they went through something hard and difficult and vulnerable to get where they are now. So, of course, you would want to hear their stories because something brought them here.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
hearing
so I feel like,
their stories and what they've grown through because a lot of people go through something similar and to let them know like they're not alone and that, hey, this person may have been through this too in similar ways, like reach out to them or like let them know, hey, you're okay and you'll be okay.
yep, that's a big part in my when I do my workshops. I keep saying that this is a woman's circle and like the sharing is helpful and the sharing is sacred and that we need that sisterhood. We need that connection and that feeling of closeness because we don't have it in our society now because everyone wants to like win and it's like how to be better, how to be faster, better, whatever, but it's not about the community feeling. So like what like big part of what I offer and like what my spaces are for, it's like the shared community feeling of you're heard, your voice is heard, and that the women feel supported and that they feel that they're not alone going through something difficult. Like that's really important. It ties in with your work as well, isn't it? Because you said that you want community feeling, like supportiveness.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like two of the biggest things you can have is like community and support, like belonging in a way. Like
Yes, yeah, yeah. Like it's just, I feel like, and I'm also a big believer that when you share your story, someone will hear it and then they will like maybe they won't have a lot to say, but they will like feel it and they will kind of sit with your story and they will find a piece of themselves in your story, and that might inspire them to take the leap, to take the lead and to do something. And that's why like sharing the stories and sharing what we're going through and what we're feeling is really important because again that's how we grow, that's how we learn, and that's how we kind of weave in this whole beauty of spirituality.
yeah, when people can like resonate with you and you resonate with them, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a frequency match, like a little vibe going on with each other, and you're like you kind of you can take that person and show them like what you've been through. And I like to say instead of go through what you've grown through, so you can either go through something or grow through it. And I believe like a lot of experiences, we grow through it. And you're not the same person who walked in it as when you come out. And I think that's also a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I agree. Totally agree. It's yeah, yeah. Like I don't have anything else to add. It was beautiful.
You actually answered my next question, which was why is sisterhood so important to you? But
Oh yeah, so it's the whole like sharing and this is how you're, sharing and growing and just being heard, being heard and being being feeling worthy, like feeling that your voice actually matters and that your experience is good. Like you don't, yeah. Because the problem with so like I talk a lot about good girl conditioning, right? So like how we were taught to be the very well behaved girls. And the thing with this is that people can have really good childhoods, right? Like happy child. Like I came from a very happy, healthy, normal family. And I was loved, I was spoiled, like I'm the only child, and my childhood was good, like normal good childhood, but I still have good girl conditioning and I still have some no like trauma. I wouldn't call them traumas, but like traumas by textbook, and that's okay. So like even like I want people to understand that you didn't like if your childhood or like yeah, if your teenage years were actually good but you still picked up some sort of conditioning, it's still okay. Like you're still worthy. Like it doesn't matter that someone maybe had it worse than you or better than you. Like what you're going through and your feelings matter, and like this is the important thing in the sisterhood, like saying that I hear you, I understand you, I support you, and it's like that giving that validation feeling that you are worthy as you are, like no matter what your experience is, because so many women are like they're not accepting that, they don't feel like they valued enough. So that's the beauty of sisterhood, like making sure that you're connected, like you're whole.
I love that. And sometimes it takes like a collective to feel that, especially like when you've been put down for so long or you've been
Yeah.
conditioned in such a way. Like it takes other people around to be like, oh, me too, me too. And then like to come together and be like, it stops with us, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like again, it's like what you were hearing when you were growing up. If you were hearing that like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, like you shouldn't be doing this, then of course people will grow up thinking that they're not able to do anything and that they're not, like my parents always taught me that I am capable of anything and that I am independent and I can do anything I want. And it's a good thing because they raised me independent and hardworking, but then that kind of they overdid it and that made me in my masculine energy more. So like I was overdoing, overgiving, overachieving, and then like made me burnt out many, many times. So, you need to find a balance with that. But yeah.
You feel like you found your balance?
No, I'm still struggling with it. I feel like people will ma like I don't think people master it completely. I don't think I will find the balance till like I'm 90 or something. Like I'm still yeah, I'm still very like I don't know. I don't know. I'm very full of energy and I'm very like fiery. So like there's no way that I will be calm and collected and like find the balance of like being in like super super feminine flow. I have my moments obviously, but I don't think it's possible. Like you need to honor your identity as well. You need to find the balance of like who you are. But I'm yeah. I'm I'm still in the middle of balancing it.
I think we all are. At least you're honest with yourself, though. You gave
Yeah.
not till 90, but yeah, um, that's all of us. So I feel like we're all like learning and growing as we go, and like whenever like your perfective self is like always like out of reach, like by like one step or like many steps. I feel like, and to have like something to work towards, I feel like you got to have something. That's what I've been struggling with is learning how to be still because
Yes, yes,
you
same, same.
always learn, go, go, go. All right, how can I get better? How can I get better? And then I was journaling today. I'll probably talk about it later, but it was just um, like how many times do we stop and like reflect on how far we've come? Or like be like, all right, you did great. And like look and like remember like who we used to be to who we are now. And I feel like that's like really the only comparison you can make is like that, or then also like your future self of like who you want to become. And not compare yourself to other people, but who you want to become. But then it's always like you want more or like to do better and grow, but you never like stop and like pause and like, all right, be still. Like, can I like when do you give yourself a break? And like when is enough for like right now? You know? That's what I've been working on.
But it's hard, and it's like especially I feel like me and you are similar because the stuff that you're doing, right? It's your passion, and you want to keep doing it, and you want to like you're very passionate about, bettering yourself and growing and growing and growing. So because it's so important to you, you don't know when to stop. The same with me. Like I love my work and like I said, the reason I didn't sleep this whole previous night is because my creativity was just flowing through me. Like I was like I could barely like what's the word? I was typing like crazy. Like I feel like there was a lot of like fumes coming from the way I was typing because my flow was just flowing, right? And like I'm gonna crash now. Yeah, but like if I don't know if you're so passionate about what you're doing, of course you're gonna like do more and everything. But it is really important to actually like stop and just smell the coffee or like smell the flowers because we don't actually give ourselves enough credit. So like I don't give myself enough credit of like where I am now to where I was last year. And like last year is not even like 10 years or 5, it's like literally last year. Like last year this time I was still in my 9 to 5 job and still in the relationship, and now I'm in a completely different timeline. But I feel like I don't stop and think, oh, like actually, like, I did all the good decisions and I did like hard decisions because I'm here now. I don't. And I feel like sometimes I'm regretting that because like like at one point I will look back and think, oh, actually, you know,
Yeah.
something will like, yeah.
Like, so much time will go on and then like you'll blink and you'll be like, whoa, like how did I get here? And like you won't ever like cherish the moment if you don't stop and be like and reflect and like look around and like you gotta give yourself like a milestone, but like be proud Like when you get to one finish line, like stop, like that race is over with, and then give yourself a break before the next race, you know?
Yeah, but it's difficult. It's difficult. It's yeah, I feel like again, if you're doing things for the right reasons because you're so passionate about it, it's like you obviously want to do more, more, more and do different things, and it's like then it's really difficult. Like at the minute I'm working on four programs, and like I'm so passionate about them because like they were different people. I'm collaborating with other souls, and like it's my own stuff as well, but it's like I feel like it's a lot, but like I'm so passionate about it. And so like that's why last night I was like everything was just coming through me, and it's like, was it healthy? No, of course not. But like, you're just in the moment, and if you have the drive, then you just do it. So
Yeah, 4 sounds like a lot, but hopefully after this you'll give yourself some rest.
I doubt it. When I reach 90, okay?
All right. Um, so in your work, you talk a lot about the feral divine feminine urge to stop shrinking, stop playing small, to find her voice and to be authentic and unapologetic for being her. At times, women may feel like they're placed in this little confined box, especially working in more masculine, male-dominated professions. What's the first step for one who is experiencing this, and how do they finally break out of this cycle?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I will very nicely promote my one-on-one work here.
Yes, that's a perfect time. You know, when
Uh,
I came across your page, I was like, man, she had this really well put together. And I was like, because that was like right before our first Zoom meeting that we had. And I was like,
yeah.
she like has all this, and I feel like she's been doing this for years. And I asked you how long you've been doing it, and you were like, oh, like only like a couple months or whatever. Like you said, like less than a year or something. And I was like, really? I was like, hmm. Because by the way like you talk about things and like the way your page is structured makes me feel like you've been doing it for like 5+ years.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I remember our conversation, but thank you for saying that again. Um, you're making me blush now. Thank you. Um, I don't, what was the question?
Yeah. Um,
The, like, you,
so how do women who are in more masculine, more dominated male professions, what's the first step for them who are experiencing roles in that? How do they finally break out of that cycle? Like those who kind of want to leave, like take the leap like you did, how do they do that?
So yeah, like I've said, I will say that like do one-on-one coaching with me because that's how we break the chains and that's how we do it. And that's why like I encourage women to work with me for like, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months so that you can see the gradual change because nothing is gonna happen overnight. So it's like a slow progress. Like I'm sure you know this with your um with what you're doing. It's like you can't grow the muscles overnight, and you can't, train your mind muscles as well overnight. So my one-on-one coaching. And then in terms of how to make like the leap and how to kind of snap out of this like hamster wheel of masculine energy, it's quite a complex question because sadly, there's no, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, there's no one size fits all answer for this because the thing is I made a leap because I realized that my soul was like howling for that, and because I'm a fiery quick person, to me that worked. But for someone who is a bit like slower and more content and more into the feelings, for them making the jump, leaving the stable 9 to 5 job and stable relationship will be like the end of the world. So there's no way I can say to everyone listening, quit your job, quit your relationship, buy one-way ticket to Alaska and you will be good. Like no. Like it's not gonna go well. Like it. So I would say that like, understand your feelings and where you are. So it's like if you feel like you can't handle and you need like, to me, I knew that I had to make the big leap. Like the everything in my gut was screaming the big leap. So, and yeah, if you're not sure, ask for help. So it's like, yes, my coaching, but go and ask your friend, your partner, your psychologist, and ask for like help. How can they kind of guide you through the process? And then the biggest kind of all this aside, I would say change the environment. So it's like, for example, if you're in a stable 9 to 5 job that but you hate, right? but you feel like you can't leave the job because, you have bills to pay, children to support, all those things. Then how can you minimize your interactions at work? Or how can you, maybe you can find a hobby that's like, I don't know, you go to a pottery class, two times per week, and that takes your mind off everything. Maybe you can, minimize your working hours. Maybe you can ask for relocation, like many, many steps that you can do to snap out of the environment. But my biggest tip is change the environment. Change the environment as little or as big as you can, and then you will feel the most massive difference. That's my take on it.
I love that answer.
Mm.
I'm a I'm a huge environment person as well, and your external environment plays a huge role. I feel like some
Yeah,
in your internal environment. Like granted, like sometimes you don't want to let your external get to your internal, but other times it's like if it's not resonating with you anymore, like it's not gonna match up. Like it's not gonna there'll be like a disconnect, I feel like, between internal and external.
yeah, like imagine if you're trying to do what you're doing, like you're so passionate, and then someone puts you in a 9 to 5 box where no one cares about the working out and taking care of your body and the soul and the mind. Like you will go nuts, like you will go crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's like when like physical symptoms start to manifest. Like
Oh, yes.
you can feel it. Like it's just like you'll feel like mentally, like you'll feel drained. Like instead of receiving energy from where you go or like your work, like you'll just feel depleted. And then
That's
when
how I felt.
yeah, you don't have time to do like the creative side because you're so drained doing the other stuff that you rather give energy to the other thing. And then like there's like physical symptoms like a pain can manifest itself in that way as well. Like it's your body, like that's all pain is like your body telling you like, hey, something's wrong. Like this isn't right. Like fix something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I mean, I talk about this in my coaching as well because I talk about a lot about somatics. So the women that are feeling numb and they're feeling like dry and depleted, right? They feel it in their body. So like their posture, the way they walk, like, if you imagine like a really happy, confident woman, the way she walks into the room, like everyone just like all eyes on the woman, right? She might not even speak, but all eyes on her. And then if you're feeling like I went through the phase, like when I was at my 9 to 5 job, I was wearing leggings and very baggy t-shirts. Like I was like of the way I was working, I was allowed that dress code. But like I was hiding my body, and I feel like my posture was like going all inwards and like in a shell. And then women feel that they don't have any creativity, right? They don't have any spark. Like the women that I coach, they come like really numb to everything. They just dry, like they don't have any hobbies anymore. They don't feel like they want to take care of themselves. They don't have they don't have the sensuality feelings about them, like sexuality. They don't feel any of it. They just feel really like an empty shell. And it's really awful. Like I said, I've been there before. It's so hard to get out of it. It's possible. It obviously is possible, but it's hard work.
I love that they have you though to help guide them because you're someone that's been through it and you can tell them or teach them how you've done it, but also like you said, one way for one person doesn't always work the other way for somebody else. So like you're able to kind of mesh different ways together and figure out what works for them.
Yeah, I always say that imagine that, take my hand and we're going through the forest together. Like I'm holding your hand, but we're going through this together. And it usually like then usually women smile and they feel like, oh, okay, like, I have help. Like I feel like I'm not alone. And that again, that brings us back to the sisterhood question and thing that we women just want to feel connected and close and in a circle, and that supportive circle because it's missing in a standard 9 to 5 job.
Once
Yeah.
you can start building that. Also, like the people you're around in your 9 to 5, like also that's like part of your environment as well. Not only like where you work, but then also the people around you is part of your environment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not always easy to change. Like you're not gonna be like, hey, can you quit? And you can't always make people leave, you know? But like you
But you
can
start distancing yourself from them because like my coworkers in my 9 to 5, like I don't have anything bad to say about them. Like then, normal people, they're happy to do the 9 to 5 job. Everything is good. We just like the same with my relationship. We just went at different things, and that's okay. Like you know, you're not gonna make friends with every single person in this world. So that's okay. So like when realized that I'm like quitting the job and like, I'm leaving, I started distancing myself from them because I realized that like I'm changing and I'm shifting realities and I'm changing my identity of who I am at my soul core, and I wasn't aligning with their values and what they have to say. So it wasn't anything nasty or anything. I was just like distancing myself from them, like, like having my lunch outside, having just like going on like on a, I don't know, 5 minute mental health walk outside, and or just like I don't know, just like changing different patterns the way I was working so that I would just be with my own thoughts in like my own bubble, if you say so.
And a lot
Yeah.
of that, them, it's more like protecting you, you know?
Yeah, it's about me, not about them. I was trying to stay sane and somehow survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I love this next question. It's a bit long, but it's worth it. All right. So you had
Okay,
a
I'm just gonna have a sip of water.
oh, I'm gonna make sure my battery is good. Okay. Because Zoom will kill your battery for real. All right.
Yeah.
You had a post on your page that really spoke to me. You were talking about systems that break women down. The post reads as such: Academia, they praise you for being articulate and smart, as long as you don't speak with too much fire. Your pain must be censored, your rage unprofessional. They train you to shrink beyond intellect and call it education. The workplace, hustle culture, and high heels. Be confident, but not bossy. Be ambitious, but not aggressive. Don't cry, don't bleed, don't rest. You're rewarded for abandoning your body and applauded for burnout. And if you break down, that's on you. The caption goes on to say, that's one big, bold, and probably controversial, but F it, the truth needs a roar, not a whisper. I love that. Women are
Hmm.
exhausted, not because we're broken, but because we've been gaslit by systems that pretend to empower us while we're quietly bleeding us dry. Academia told us to worship intellect, but abandon your body. Work told us to grind harder and smile prettier. Motherhood gave us sacredness, but no support. Healing spaces silence our rage with love and light, and everywhere we go, we carry everyone's emotions like it's our nature. You're not too much, you're just done pretending to thrive in cages. This isn't victimhood, it's awakening. Let it burn, let it shake, let it begin. That's awesome. So I love how passionate you are about that in your work and your mission to help with.
Thank you.
I believe systems are a part of the problem and as young children, we are indoctrinated into keeping the systems alive due to others passing down their beliefs, either subconsciously or consciously, and those who run the systems ensuring they are kept in place. How do we as a collective break out and stand up?
That was a I love that post. I remember that post. That post got quite a lot of shares as well. I feel like quite a lot of people resonated with it. Um, yeah, I feel like I should write something similar.
You should, for real.
Yeah, so basically I feel like this question kind of ties in with what we just talked about. It's like how do you have the courage to break the chains? So it's like change the environment, ask for help, make sure that you are answering the question to yourself of who you are and what your values are. And I said like there's people that can help you to strip down the conditioning you have. So like again, I'm a big I talk a lot about good girl conditioning, right? So it's like you strip down all of these, I should be this, I should be the other, and like, oh, I can't be this or can't be the other. But like when you actually realize who you want to be or who you are, then life becomes very different. Like. So my suggestion is, yeah, change the environment, ask yourself the honest questions, and understand that if you want to change, it will not be easy. Like if it would be easy, everyone would do it. That's the way I say it. If it would be easy, everyone would be a millionaire. If it would be easy, all of us would have really good bodies and all of us would work out 5 times a week. But it's not difficult as in like we know what to do, but it's quite hard. So yeah, so it's not gonna be easy, but it's worth it. And if you're answering the question to yourself that you're here to do more, because some people are feeling the calling really loudly like I did, and some people not. So if you feel like the calling is howling at you that you need to do something more, then listen to it, because it will be unbearable if you're not going to listen to it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like part of your purpose, like the call is like your purpose calling you, and then you can either pretend to ignore it or not hear it, but the call never like goes away. Like it will still be there. It may be like silenced or dimmed a little bit, but it's always going to be there.
It's always gonna get louder. I feel like from the books I've read and other people I talk with, if
Mhm.
you feel the soul calling is knocking at your door, if you're not gonna answer, it's gonna get louder and louder.
Yeah. And the pain that you feel like doing what you're doing that isn't that, I feel like will increase as well.
Yes, yes. So like to me, it was really bad. Like it was really bad. And but again, like it was, yeah, it's all the pains for pains for gains or whatever the expression is. Gains, pains, whatever. You know, it's like when you, it's not like when you're working out. Like I love using this very simple explanation. Like when you're working out and you're building the muscle, it hurts. Like it hurts. You can't get abs without any pain. As simple as that. So it's the same with all of the emotional pain and emotional baggage we're going through. It's hard, it's painful, and but that's the embodiment. Like that's the true wild woman, right? Like she can feel the pain, she can embody the pain, she can alchemize the pain into something beautiful.
Can you talk a little bit about good girl conditioning
Yeah.
and what is good girl conditioning and how did you break free of good girl conditioning?
Again, still healing, still going through it. I don't feel like I don't feel like we will be fully healed, like me or other people, because you know it's conditioning. So you can obviously get better, but I feel like it's always gonna be there, like in your blueprint. It's just a matter of how good you are with handling it. And the good girl conditioning is basically the set of limiting beliefs that you were told when you were growing up. So when you were, so for example, you were told don't cry, or like good girls don't make drama, or good girls don't dress like this, or you know, like maybe you were raised in a family where the parents weren't emotionally available, so you felt like you had to kind of, you know, be in between the parents and like you had to kind of take care of one parent or maybe be advocate for another. So it's like you kind of you were pushing your needs down and everyone else needs was above yours. So like you essentially then you became the good girl because you were taught to be quiet, silent, and you were taught to not put yourself first. And then in the result then we, you know, we don't have the self-worth. We feel like our needs don't matter. Like then the whole another Pandora's chest opens up when the woman that has good girl conditioning goes to the relationship and she doesn't know how to express her needs in the relationship, and then she doesn't feel fulfilled and safe in a relationship, but she doesn't know how to say, you know, I want more attention, or I want you to hug me more, or can you like take me out on dates more. Like she's scared to say that because she was taught when she was growing up, like her mother for example never expressed the needs to her dad, so it gets internalized and then we feel like we can't, like literally we can't say anything and we can't raise our voices, and then it becomes really, really bad. It becomes really ingrained.
And that conditioning is passed down usually from generation to generation. And
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
once someone comes along like you and breaks it,
Smash it, smash it.
yeah, then they don't, then they can, they're hopefully that their child doesn't carry that conditioning that's been passed down.
Hope, hopefully. But I want to also say this as well that yes, I'm speaking from the woman's perspective because I'm women's empowerment coach, but the same slash similar things you can get them when you're a man as well, because like it's the same thing. Like when you're growing up, right? And if you're like, for example, the only man in the family, maybe for example you were, you know, maybe your, again maybe your parents weren't emotionally available and you felt like you had to be the man like when since you were a little boy, and that messed you up as well. So like yes, the good girl conditioning, I'm talking from like my expertise and my perspective, but you know men also suffer from these conditionings growing up because maybe they were taught to be like super high masculine and maybe that they were not allowed to cry or they were not allowed to show any emotions, and then when a guy like this goes into a relationship and her partner then starts crying, he doesn't know how to react, and it's not like he just doesn't know because he never grew up with that.
Mhm.
So it's not just about, like yes, I'm talking about the woman, but it's also about the man. Like it's also the conditioning, boys pick up, and how difficult it is to untangle that, because it's much more difficult for men to speak about their emotions. Like, I'm sure you can relate to that. It's difficult, isn't it? You feel like you're different if you're talking about emotions when you're a man, like at least from my experience with partners and everything.
Yeah. Um, I've also seen like a lot of men, like in general, more generation before myself and backwards, but like conditioned not to show emotion, that like they're
Yeah.
weak and we don't talk about this and this and that. But it's like you have that, but then also it's like what you talked about, like so the conditioning also doesn't stop that there. It goes into it bleeds into other things like relationships or your children's children or your children. And like it's like a cycle that, like you said, like until you break it and smash it,
Yeah, you smash it, smash it.
it really does come up in other areas. But um yeah, I feel like now for me, I was raised by all women. So I grew up without a father figure. So Um, it's more easy for me to show emotion, but also it's harder for me to relate to other males, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. So see, it's like it's the way you were brought up, because it's like whichever kind of like on whichever side, in quotation marks you were on. And then I feel like like I feel like for men it's like really difficult to talk about the emotions. Like from my like speaking from my experience, like Lithuania as a nation, like we were quite suppressed because of historical stuff. And I feel like men from like Lithuania, like my generation or my parents' generations, they're not talking about feelings. Like men are like you're supposed to be like hard as a rock, and like not a single emotion, not a happy tear, not a sad tear, like nothing. And it's really damaging because they're feeling all of the emotions, and they don't know how to express them. And it's really damaging for them. So I'm sure, like, well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that there should be some, coaching for men to express the emotions and to kind of like, work with that, because the coaching I do as well as I do relationship coaching. So I don't really like I don't work with men, but I work with like the relationship dynamics. So I'm hoping that there should be some coaching for men to kind of, soften up and open up and understand the emotional side of things.
Yeah. And to me, like, I mean, like we're human, so we're all meant to feel emotions and to express
Yes.
them. No one gender is meant to feel more than the other, and no one gender is meant to suppress it more than the other. And when you suppress it, like it doesn't just go away. Like it gets stored in the body. Like when you
Yeah.
express yourself, like that's when you're gonna have, the pain will creep in, whether it be mental or physical, emotional. Like it doesn't go away. Like it's always gonna be there, and you have to find an outlet. But you can only push things down so far until they blow up. So
It
you
feel explodes, yeah.
you can see that a lot in like rage with people or like parents and the way they parent their children. So like if they're quick to anger and things like that, and just other things. But like emotions, really it's like energy in motion. So like you have to let it out. Like you have to have an outlet, because if it's all in, like it's not gonna be good.
No, and one of the big teachings that I do is I talk about the anger. And because I feel like, again, part of the good girl conditioning is that women were taught that you can't be angry, or like when we're showing our emotions, we're saying that like we're too emotional. And then we like no one validates our anger. So like the rituals that I always do with women, like in the workshops or as homework, is well two. One ritual is going to the forest or the park, like where it's safe, and you literally scream your lungs out. Like you scream like crazy person.
Yeah.
It the best thing ever. The best thing ever. And then another ritual that we do is like a quite well-known ritual is to take a pillow and punch the pillow. Like if you're really angry, punch the pillow. And like say or like another thing as well is like say to the pillow like whatever you want to say and like let it out, like voice the feelings out and let it out. And usually then you will feel something in your throat, like again, somatics, like you will feel your body kind of, you know, vomiting everything out. And then you should feel better because again, when I was at 9 to 5 job, I kept having all of the issues with my throat and with my lips. And um like other stuff, because I was not letting emotions out. I was bubbling everything in because I feel like I couldn't say anything at work, and my body wasn't showing signs of holding everything in. So you need to let it out.
Yeah, that's like a prime example of it showing up in other ways.
Hmm.
You don't let it out.
And it's really bad. Like we know we need to let the emotions out, and we need to find a safe way to do that, as in like so we don't injure others and ourselves. So again, like screaming in the pillow or screaming in the forest, it's like you're letting out, and you will feel so much. Like I've done it myself so many times. It makes you feel so much calmer because you kind of let it out, and then you can actually kind of talk with yourself. What are these emotions are showing, because they're always an indicator of something is wrong. Something is changing, something is addressing, and then you can kind of go with it. So yeah,
I think there definitely should be, um, I'm sure there is, like coaches out there for men, but
I hope there is.
yeah, I mean, if not, maybe I can
You
take on.
can be the one.
Maybe yeah, you gave me an idea. Maybe I'll take on that role.
See, you can be the teacher for men, and then me and you can do our retreat together. But we just need to find the balance between the beach and the mountains, somewhere in the middle,
We'll
and then it will be beautiful.
have a little collaboration that we do.
Yeah, so see, I feel like that's a deal. I feel like you need to become this kind of coach for men now, and we can talk in a year.
Okay. All right. So, what has been the biggest challenge you've overcome along your journey, either before you started coaching other women or during your time as a coach for other women?
For sure, the fastest, easiest answer is the biggest challenge is believing yourself when no one else is.
Yeah.
Like that's the when I said to my friends and family that I'm quitting the job and I'm quitting the relationship, no one believed me. Literally no one. No one. I
They
was
thought you,
doing it on my own, and it was very, 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 very hard. So the biggest challenge is doing something that you truly believe in, and doing it like when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, just silently choosing yourself over and over again, like falling and getting back up again, falling and doing it back, coming back up again. That's my advice.
being your own biggest cheerleader then when no one else is clapping for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What would yours be? I'm very curious because I feel like it probably is same or similar, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's like choosing your own sanity and your own blueprint, like soul blueprint rather than anything else. Or what
Yeah, I
do you have to say?
really have that support from family either or friends. So, um, people call it the black sheep. I like to call it golden sheep of the family.
Love that.
But yeah, like you stand out and you're separate from what is known around you. And to be the one who says like it ends with me or like stand up and be someone different, it can be lonely. It can feel lonely, but along the way, you find your tribe of people. Like you find the
Yeah,
people who are golden sheep and who don't want to be white. Black. So they yeah, you find the people who, but then also like the support comes from strangers who you never met. Like there've been
yeah.
people you who will support you more than like your actual family, I feel like. So or
That's a big one. Like I shared about this on my Instagram a while back. So when my first ever podcast interview came out, right? I shared it on my personal Facebook account that like, oh, like this is amazing. Like it's my first ever podcast interview. Like that's so cool. And the people that liked was both of my parents and my best friend. And that's it. And then when I shared it on my socials, like my Dana socials, I had so many people replying to me like congratulations, that's big, like I'm so happy for you, and the messages were genuine.
yeah.
So and like the teaching I made from that on my stories was saying that like old Agne would be very sad that I didn't get the validation from other people, from my old identity friends on Facebook, like would have been sad. But like new Agne, I was like, oh, okay, well, they're not bothered. No, I wanted to share. I had my little fame moment, and I'm happy. And then my new tribe was actually messaging me saying like it's how amazing it is, and they were congratulating me, and yeah, so I found my tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely found my group of people. And yeah, it does come and you will find them. It will feel lonely, but I promise, like if you keep going, like you will find your people where you're meant to be. That's the biggest thing is you gotta keep going. And, like don't quit, don't give up. You gotta keep going.
Yeah, as long as I said, like the way I say it, as long as you have that inner fire, inner purpose, inner fire, that's your compass. And as long as you're listening and you're being true to yourself, you're being like you're full of integrity, then it will be okay. It will be hard, but it will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like keeping it separate. All right, one last question. I asked every guest who appears on the series. What does it mean to live with purpose, and how do you know you found your purpose?
So again, it's like I feel like everything we talked about very like intertwines together. I feel like again, it's when you wake up every day and you know that you have a purpose, like you feel like the job you do brings you meaning. And for one person it could be being the best dog mom, for another person it could be being the best like having 5 kids and being the best like stay-at-home mom, and it makes the person so happy, and the kids are happy. For another person is being like I don't know, a big $1 million company boss. And as long as they are happy within themselves, then that's literally your success model. As long as you're being true to yourself, your values are aligned with your actions and your sole purpose. I feel like that's literally what living with purpose. And at this moment, like of our talk, I feel like I am living my purpose. I feel like I know, like, I feel like I'm standing with my 2 feet, like, grounded in earth. I know that I'm here to do the work and, like, be the rebel and, like, smash all the societal boxes and lead the tribe of women that need that leader. And I feel like I'm there for that. And, like I could talk about this for hours. Like, I feel like I'm there for that.
I love that. I'm glad that you found your purpose and what you're doing. Um, it's amazing because it's not only you don't only like grow through what you went through, but like you're taking what you learned and you're like basically leading like your tribe. And you're like, hey, let's go, follow me. And you're leading others with you. It's one thing to make it out of the darkness. It's another thing to lead others with you and help them see the light. And I think, well, actually, no, I know you are that light for other people. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
All right. Um, how's Stormy doing?
I don't know. She's not in this room. I closed the door because I get distracted if she's here. So
Yeah.
I don't really know. But she was sleeping for most of the day, so I think it's time that she's crazy probably.
Well, tell Stormy I said hi.
Okay, I will.
Appreciate you for being on and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We'll definitely have to connect again and maybe that that collaboration will happen.
I come on, we're like it's new moon today as we're doing this call, like we're manifesting it. Come on, like we're putting it out into the universe. It's happening. But thank you for having me. It means a lot to me. Like honestly, thank you, thank you, thank you for having me and for believing in what I do and wanting to talk with me. So thank you.
Yes, I will get this over to you and we can share it with our people and then we can grow our following list to 1,000 plus.
Yes, and then we can actually make live.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye.